Welcome back to the channel. Just want to say thank you and thank you and thank you some more again. Getting back to the basics. We'll use a description for this video, which will be, it all works together for the good. For your good, for the good, everything, every situation, no matter how tough, no matter how wonderful, it all works together for the good. And again, I'm coming from my own experiences and just how it has worked together for my good, bringing me to, entrepreneurship that I had no clue. But, all of it was working together for the good. Growing up, going to school, and once you get in a certain grade, you reach 15, you're in 11th, 12th grade, you are like, I want to do something. I want, see if I can have my own money so that I can do something. And back then, there was the youth employment program, and the hourly rate was $2.50. So I know myself, I had gotten a job at McDonald's, and it was close to the school. So I got that first paycheck, and it was $11, and I was so excited for that $11. It meant so much to me. And again, here you are, here I am, I'm working as a cashier, dealing with people, customer service, so on and so forth, learning the business, learning how to be personable, I'll say, learning how to talk to people, learning how to take an order, learning how to compute it, put it into the register, learning how to exchange and give money once you get a certain amount back, and the change that you give back, it didn't compute back then. We had to kind of count the change, think about it, count the change out, and hand it to them. So see, all of that was working, working for the good. And then of course you still kind of go from job to job, and then you're coming out of school, and you have to figure out, what am I going to do? Do I want to go to college? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? So, you go ahead, things work out. Of course, I shared on the other video, I end up going to Wilfred Academy Beauty Academy in Upper Darby, and Upper Darby. And it was a wonderful experience. Very, very good experience. So, after that, there I was again. I need a job. I just need me a job. I gotta have some income. So I worked at Harrow Servo, and they made refrigerator parts, airplane parts, and I was a printer there. So I printed on the actual part, and boy, was that so much fun. It's just the experience of just doing that. And it's real tedious, and you're writing, and your printing has to be legible so that it's seen and it's understood. And then they had another part of it where you were doing wiring, was real repetitious and real fast. You had to be real fast at it. So it was really good. It was really interesting, and it was a learning experience. And again, what was needed, whatever it was, I needed it. And I end up at lunchtime cutting hair in the bathroom. And as this went on, as I did more and more haircuts in this bathroom, my lunchtime, my fellow employees were like, Eva, what are you doing here? Why don't you go into a salon? Why don't you, see if you can do hair? So I was like, well, maybe we'll do that. So I did. I end up, searching it out and kind of going, and I end up calling a beauty salon that was in Chester at the time, but I didn't know the area, but it was on Pusey Street. So it was on a dead end street. So it wasn't where people can just walk in and come in, and not really. It wasn't really where people can just walk in and, you know, get their hair done. So it was a little difficult for me, but the lady was an elderly lady, and she had the beauty salon was attached to her home. And, you know, she just wanted to have somebody to come in and utilize, you know, work in there and, you know, do hair in there. So this one particular time, people would come at the door, and the lady, she always reminded me, Eva, always remember to keep the door closed. So I said, okay, I surely will. Well, here this one particular day, they had a layoff, and the layoff happened to be in Scott Paper at the time. So the people actually tried to break into the salon while I was there. And I thought, oh, okay. And she's like, see why I, you know, was sharing with you to keep the doors locked and everything. So, you know, my father and my aunt, they kind of, you know, took me back and forth because I still didn't drive at the time. So they kind of took me back and forth to this hair salon because they didn't live too far away from it. And, you know, I ended up staying with them. And I just thought, this is just too much for me. I just couldn't couldn't advertise like I wanted to. And I know, you know, advertise with this type of business, your advertisement walks as well. So I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to do the newspaper. But then, you know, in that community, I really didn't know the people. I really wasn't familiar with everything, you know, in the area, in the community. So it kind of didn't work for me. So I had to, you know, venture out and look for another salon that I could, you know, grow in and, you know, learn a lot more even about advertisements. So I end up leaving this salon. But again, the things that had happened, even the locking of the door, you know, even the people that had come there, sometimes, you know, they just kind of got things on credit type of thing. And so, you know, all of that was still working together for the good. It really did. It just came on in there and worked together, you know, because you're learning different things each time. I was learning so many different things, you know, just how to run a salon. I was in there by myself. And then when I did go to, I end up going to the Command Performance Styling Chains. So this was a salon with a lot more stylists there. So it was really, really, really a great learning experience, because there, you know, they advertise somewhat, but then you got to go out and you have your business cards, and, you know, you're talking to people. And it just so happened to be in a mall. So it was really a good thing. You're really seen. You're really, people can stand at the window and see you do the hair. So it was really a great thing. And the opportunities that are there in the styling chains like that are just wonderful. They had an incentive there when I worked there. I worked there for some years. And they had an incentive, like whoever did the most perms could win a trip to London, to England. And I thought, but I never thought about it. You know, you're just doing the perms. I always did a lot of perms anyway. So pretty much, I didn't really keep track of it. I kind of lost track of it because it got, you know, to where it was taking a while, and they were picking like seven stylists out of the Chester County area. So, you know, time went on, and that time came to choose. Well, I won the contest. And I was like, me? And they're like, yes, you have done the most perms. and congratulations, you're going to London. And I'm like, what? I've never been out of the United States. I've never been to another country. So all of that was like, oh my goodness. And you got to learn some advanced training. We went to Vidal Sassoon. So, it was really an awesome, learning experience. And, just going over there, it was such a long flight. I was like, oh boy, are we there yet? But oh, well, we have 3/4 of the water of the ocean to cover, to get over. And you don't know that's 8 more hours. And it's like, whoa. So, it was just a wonderful experience. And, just going there and, just how, when we did go to Vidal Sassoon, there were 7 of us. I didn't know the other stylists. We just happened to meet each other, once we came together to go on the trip. And we went to Vidal Sassoon, and the way they did hair, they sat down, and the receptionist, she stood up. So it was really interesting because we don't do it. It's so opposite the way we do. We stand up and the receptionist sits down to the first one you see and she's talking. But this was a little different. The receptionists were up and really involved with the customer service, keeping people moving, and the stylist, she was right behind that chair, just doing their thing. And it was just a very good learning experience. And of course, we got to do some extra stuff, just going to Big Ben and, riding on the double-decker buses and, so on and so forth. Their main car was the Jaguar. So that's all you seen was the Jaguars. So that was back in the 80s, like the early 80s. When I had gone there, but it was just an awesome, again, every experience, every training, everything everything that went on, it was working together for the good. And I thought, oh, okay, this is really happening like this. So, then, once I had gotten back and they had another training and I had gotten a chance to go there, and that was out in Cincinnati, Ohio, and that was just all on color. There's different advanced techniques on, the different colors and everything, and, how to perform them and how to, do the mixtures, the different mixing of the chemicals to achieve, what you want to achieve as far as hair color is concerned. So it was really interesting just learning, getting, going there and getting all this advanced training, because it was working together. And I never knew that it was going to be, where it was an entrepreneurial thing for me now. But, you're there and you're seeing how management role, how they, the roles of the managers and the roles of the owners and the roles of the stylists, the roles of, everybody involved. So it was pretty interesting. So it was all, working together for the good. So I say that to say, don't give up on your dream. Even if it's really small at the time, even if you don't even see one, even when you don't really know, don't give up on it. If you're somewhere where you're like, what am I doing here? What? I think I want to do something else. And that's okay to feel that way. And I say that because I felt that way as well. I was like, what am I doing? Especially at McDonald's. I thought, what am I, am I going to be here? But it was the customer service. It's being personable with the people. It's learning how to, have dialogue with people, and you're taking orders and you're exchanging money and so on and so forth. So all of that was working together for the good. And then you're going to another country and they do things completely different. But supposing I wanted to come back and do it that way. So it was really interesting just the way that, you know, things were done, and just how they presented it to their client. And of course their English, you know, their English was a little different, but it was just a learning experience. So I say that to say, you know, don't give up. You know, it doesn't matter how young, it doesn't matter how old, it doesn't matter, because we still have dreams, and your dream can still be that dream that you've always dreamed, and it finally comes true. So, you know, I just, you know, want to put out there that it does take all that and some, because a lot of times it's all the behind the scenes work that is what is important. The work that nobody sees. When you become that manager, when you become the assistant manager, you get to see payroll, you get to see how that's done, you get to see all the spreadsheets, you get to see the scheduling, you get to learn how to hire, you get to learn how to fire, unfortunately, but you know, you're trained in all these different things, and that just adds more. That just adds more under your belt. So I just say that to say, as we get into this, you know, getting back to the basics, just keeping it real simple, even like I said, where you're at, even if it has nothing to do with your profession, not one thing to do with it. McDonald's, Harold Servo, that had nothing to do with the profession that I was going to get into, but it did as far as your personable skills, your communication skills, your how you interact with people, and you know how you're building character. So all that works together for the good. So I just wanted to say that as we get into more, and I'll have, you know, some more props, and then we'll really start to break things down, and then you can see like, wow, this is what I can do. And it doesn't have to be outside of it. You can be an entrepreneur right in your own home, now that they got computers and so on and so forth. Back then we didn't have social media where we could put it out there, and you know, so forth. We just had where you can advertise in the paper, but you were the advertiser. You had to get out there and do it, you know, by handing out business cards, handing out flyers, and so on and so forth. So again, I want to thank you. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for subscribing, and I hope to talk to you real soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.